Welcome. We are so glad that you're joining us tonight. I'm Janet McLaughlin, and I have the privilege of serving as the Executive Director of the Vermont Association for the Education of Young Children. And I am delighted to welcome you back to the 2021 Vermont Early Childhood Education Conference. Tonight's session is the second in a three-part conference series, and we're excited to have over 150 people here with us tonight. We have a powerful program planned this evening that includes the presentation of the Vermont Early Childhood Educator of the Year Award, remarks from Senator Leahy and Representative Welch. And then we have a phenomenal keynote with presentations and discussions featuring national early childhood education thought leaders, as well as responses from Vermont's early childhood educators. And tonight's presentation will set the stage for tomorrow's informative and thought-provoking workshops on professional licensure as a potential path to the respect, compensation, and careers that early childhood educators deserve. So sort of taken together, we hope that this section of the conference highlights the progress being made as early childhood educators come together to advocate for the respect and investments the profession deserves, and inspires us to keep moving forward together. I do want to offer a word of gratitude for our sponsors as we get started. Before we get to the Early Childhood Educator of the Year presentation. Each of these sponsors has chosen to invest in this conference as a way of honoring early childhood educators, and we are grateful for their support. And we are especially grateful to Let's Grow Kids for creating a powerful movement for early childhood education in Vermont that is deeply rooted in an appreciation for the skilled and thoughtful work that early childhood educators do every day. And that really is sort of exactly why Let's Grow Kids created the Early Childhood Educator of the Year Award about 7 years ago. And just this year passed the reins to Vermont ECEOY and continued to sponsor the award. And so now I'd like to invite Callie Richards, the CEO of Let's Grow Kids and one of the most passionate champions that we could ever ask for to speak.
Thank you so much, Janet. Oh, I just get a thrill, even though we're not together in person. This is one of my absolute favorite nights of the year. Thank you for that lovely intro, Janet. I am just so excited to be with you all tonight, celebrating the 2021 Vermont Early Educator of the Year. It feels like an award ceremony, not the Oscars or something. You know, I want to let you all know that when the Permanent Fund first established this award back in 2015, we did it for a really specific reason. We did it to recognize outstanding early childhood educators and increase awareness about how essential your work is to our kids, their families, the world, and to just really emphasize how we all rely so heavily on you all and your work in early childhood education. So a lot has changed since 2015 when we started this award. I have twins, they're now 3. It's just crazy to think about that. Global pandemic, things that we've all certainly felt deeply. And one thing that has been thrilling to see change are the attitudes in our society. We've seen people really sort of wake up to some essential truths that the pandemic really helped expose. One of those has absolutely been people finally understanding just how essential your work is, not only to the kids in your care every single day and their families, but our economy, our society. It's truly been an honor and a privilege to work with so many remarkable educators over the year, to recognize so many of you who have helped shape the lives of so many Vermont kids. And I have to say, we're very thrilled at Let's Grow Kids to be handing this award process over to Janet, to Vermont ECEOY. It's absolutely the right thing to do to have this award and the nomination process live within Vermont's Association of Early Childhood Educators. So tonight feels very fitting and we're so pleased to officially be handing the baton over for Vermont AYC to really be behind this process and the award. But I just want to be clear, Let's for Kids is going to continue to support this award. And beyond that, we are focused like a laser on additional supports for early educators right now in this coming legislative session and beyond, so that all Vermont's early childhood educators are fairly compensated for your essential work and have access to resources you need to deliver and sustain the highest possible quality programming to Vermont's youngest kids. So I know it might feel odd that we've never been closer to achieving a sustainable funding fix for high quality childcare into the future. And yet we are still in a very acute crisis. Some of you may have heard, I was on Vermont Edition earlier today with some folks from Robin's Nest in Burlington. And we were talking for the full hour about the very real struggles that childcare programs are grappling with right now. Jesse was on, early educator from Robin's Nest. He talked about how he used to have to work nights at a bar in addition to being an early educator because he couldn't support himself on the early education salary alone. And Beth Workman, the director at Robin's Nest, talked about beloved staff members leaving for higher paying jobs in public schools. You know, I bet every single one of you has a story about what it's like to put everything you've got into a career that you love, but that doesn't always pay the bills. That is not okay. It's just not okay. So, on a personal note, as you all know, I do love talking about the twins, and I'm surprised they haven't busted in the door. I blurred my background just in case. They have learned how to open doors in the past couple of years. I drop my kids off at the childcare that we feel so lucky to have found and then refound again now after a bit of a hiatus because of COVID. And every single day, the early educators are giving 100+% of themselves to provide the highest quality care amidst these incredibly extraordinary circumstances. And they're also caring for me. Pretty much every week it's something else. And I feel like I'm at my wit's end, and yet my early educator is there for my kids and for me. And I don't see them leaving much in the tank for themselves. It's just incredible what you all are doing every single day, especially through this crisis, this prolonged crisis that we're still in. And it's high time that society respects and compensates this crucial role in a way that allows you all to get the resources you need, the time for yourself that you need, the benefits and the compensation that you deserve. So I do want to assure you, we will be working at Let's for Kids even harder, even faster from here on out until we go away in 2025, at which point, we will leave behind a publicly funded system that supports high quality, affordable early child education. So I just, I can't reiterate enough. We're in a tricky moment right now where we're going to double down to get you all the supports you need to weather this crisis and continue the drumbeat to get Vermont to a place where childcare programs are out of survival mode for good, and you all get the support that you need. So I do hope, there's my one little plug, I do hope you all will join Vermont's childcare campaign to support us in this critical advocacy work. No one understands the dynamics more than you all. No one understands the urgency and the importance more than you all. So thank you for what you do every day. Thank you for being part of Vermont's childcare campaign. And with that, I'll hand the mic back over to my longtime friend and colleague and the new MC and shepherd of the Early Child of the Year Award, Janet McLaughlin. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Callie. It is always a pleasure to share a screen with you and to tag team with you. You're right. We are in this moment where we have sometimes these low lows and we have these, super high highs. And I'm hopeful that the Vermont Early Childhood Educator of the Year Award can be this moment where we can have this moment where we can also celebrate what is going right and where, the ways that early childhood educators overall, rose to the challenge during the COVID-19 pandemic, and one very specific early childhood educator to exemplify that. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I will to tell you just a little bit more about the award. So, this award is designed to honor an early childhood educator who demonstrates excellence in the field of early childhood education, especially in this last year of COVID-19, when educators had to be exceptionally creative and flexible in applying their training to create inclusive learning communities. Awardees exemplify the principles outlined in NAEYC standards for high quality programs and are committed to professional growth. They serve as a resource for their families and communities. And thanks to Let's Grow Kids, tonight's winner will receive $2,500 and expenses paid for a future National Association for the Early Education of Young Children conference. Now, to arrive at tonight's honoree, we received hundreds of nominations from families, colleagues, and community members for early childhood educators who had been shining stars in their classrooms and in their communities. We asked those nominees to tell us a little bit more about their approach to early childhood education and their experiences in the last year. And we then engaged a committee of Vermonters committed to excellence and equity in early childhood education. So that esteemed group is listed here, and it includes early childhood educators, those who are doing the work, having a lot to offer in terms of assessing who's that model of excellence. And this includes folks who are both early in their career and seasoned veterans, as well as representatives from higher education, community organizations, and state government. The group approached this task, with a real seriousness of purpose, and they were really grateful for the opportunity to learn from the nominees by reading what they wrote. So we're really grateful to this committee for their work. So who did they choose? So I am going to tell you. And then we're going to watch a short video about the winner, and then we'll get to hear from our honoree directly. So tonight's awardee has been an educator for 20 years. Nominators describe her as kind, generous, creative, organized, flexible, dedicated, and awesome and amazing. Committed to ensuring that her teaching is rooted in research and best practices. She has earned an associate's degree in early childhood education, a bachelor's degree in elementary education, and a master's degree in education. She's also currently enrolled in an educational leadership program. The honoree works intentionally to create an inclusive learning community. She interviews families at the beginning of each school year to collect information on their child's likes and dislikes, fears, passions, family traditions, culture, and language. And she then uses that information to help design an inviting space and to build bonds, both between and with her students. She's a team player, partnering with families and colleagues in multiple ways. She visits families before the school year starts and offers multiple resources and ways to engage throughout the school year so that families feel comfort, ease, and positivity, those were her words, that will carry forward throughout elementary school. As a leader amongst her peers, she has negotiated teacher contracts as her school's NEA representative, and she's on her school district's social emotional learning committee. Last year, as a pre-K teacher in a rural Vermont community, she stepped up to ensure that all children in her community could participate in ways that were comfortable for their families. She led an in-person pre-kindergarten classroom for one group of children in the morning, and in the afternoon, she would lead a remote pre-kindergarten class for another group of children. She embraced the challenge of adapting her teaching for online learning, and as one of her nominators noted, she not only educated students in person each day, but she created a vibrant learning community with the remote school. So students still got a valuable preschool education and made connections with their peers in a fun, student-focused classroom. So, on behalf of Vermont AEYC, it is my pleasure to announce that the 2021 Early Childhood Educator of the Year is Callie Weller.
My name is Callie Weller, and I teach preschool at Calais Elementary School. It's a mixed 3-4 program. I love that the program is part of the elementary school because it gives kids an opportunity to have a really great start to this building. It's fun. Preschool is fun. We do a lot of work in the first 6 weeks about who we are as individuals, but also how we are all the same people. We're people with feelings, right? Really think that that's an important building block for my kiddos. I see so much caring in my students when they realize that so-and-so maybe doesn't look like them, and maybe can't reach something that they can reach or can't do something that they can do, and they can step up to help that kid because they care about them. Play is how they learn. It's how they explore their world. And getting puzzling questions and figuring out why things are doing what they're doing or why they're not doing what they're doing, even their friends, right, is all part of learning for them. I could tell you about remote learning forever and a day. The reason that I did it, I guess, is because I was able to. When we started up again in the fall of 2020, our district decided that they were going to offer remote school or in-person school to all of our families across the district. And we decided I could do 11 in this room safely in person. And then I would take the rest of the 15 remote learners for an entire district and teach them online. Before school even started, I spent a day going around and doing driveway visits for about a half hour with each family. And we just met outside. I got a chance to see each child's face. They got a chance to see mine. I did 3 to 4 videos a day and posted them. I drove packets of papers around to houses on my day off on Fridays. We started our day with a meeting and we moved a lot. There wasn't a lot of sitting. It was a lot of sharing. It was a lot of learning through the computer, like go out and find something that's shaped like a circle. Who can find something shaped like a circle? Bring it back. What do you have? During the remote and in-person learning, for a lot of teachers, there was a lot of extra work. I had a lot of help. We all just lifted really heavily together. It's tricky, right? I think the trickiest part of it is balance. How do we get all families what they need and what they deserve? Because all kids deserve a really good start. There are so many people like me doing this thing every day and loving this job every day and working so hard every day. Kids deserve really excited teachers who want to be here every day and help them explore their world and learn about it. You have to love what you do.
Good evening and welcome. My name is Kate Robb, and I have the privilege and honor to introduce the 2021 Vermont Early Childhood Educator of the Year, Callie Weller. I've been friends and colleagues with Callie for more than a decade. Since I've known her, Callie has had many teaching roles, from teaching 3rd and 4th graders to her current role as a preschool teacher. No matter what grade she is teaching, Callie's dedication to her students, her pedagogical expertise, and the kindness, humor, love, and playfulness she provides to each child is an example of the qualities that all teachers should provide in their classrooms. Sure, there are many great educators in Vermont, but in my eyes, Callie is the best. I may be a little biased because she is one of my dear friends, but I know that the more you get to know Callie, you will see that she truly is a unique educator. I say this for many reasons, but especially because there are very few people that could successfully teach the way Callie did last year. You see, she was asked to have 2 different classroom communities last year, one remote and one in person. Yes, I know many educators throughout Vermont had to pivot, but not all of them pivoted with preschoolers. I would say that the word pivot doesn't adequately describe the engaging learning environments that Callie was able to create for her 3- and 4-year-olds that depended on her each day. She didn't just take what she was teaching in the in-person classroom and turn on the computer to teach the same thing because she knew this would not meet her students' needs. Rather, she did what she has always done. She adapted her teaching so she could effectively build community, teach skills, and help her preschoolers find normalcy through play, through learning, and through fun. So it is with my full heart that I happily introduce my colleague and dear friend, the 2021 Vermont Early Childhood Educator of the Year, Callie Weller.
Hi, I'm shocked and honored that Kate introduced me with all those kind words. I guess I want to start by saying thank you to the Vermont Association for the Education of Young Children and Let's Grow Kids for this incredible honor. The 13 members of the review committee were tasked with what I imagine to be an impossible job. The early childhood teaching community in Vermont is full of amazing, hardworking individuals who deserve to be recognized. It's been a tough couple of years, and I know that people are working harder than ever to keep kids healthy and happy. I also want to thank my fantastic colleagues who nominated me for this award. You are as deserving as I. We work tirelessly as a team at Calais Elementary School to provide a safe and engaging environment for all of our kids. I am thankful to be part of such a fantastic group of educators. Lastly, I want to thank my family. My husband has supported me in this job for over 20 years, from cutting out laminated items to picking up the slack at home when I take late night classes or attend meetings into the wee hours. And I want to thank my kids. I have 2 amazing children, and they have helped me set up activities before school, and they've helped me move my classroom countless times as I change grade levels. I honestly couldn't do this job without them. And I want to say to all of the early childhood educators out there that as we continue to educate through these uncertain times, it's important to remember that we are an important constant in our students' lives. We offer a safe environment built around predictability, love, and engagement. Although this work can be exhausting, I find it to be equally rewarding. My students remind me why I'm here every day with their smiles and their laughter, their hugs. We know that the early years of a child's life are the most important. Through play and exploration, we build bonds, memories, and experiences that create the emotional and cognitive bedrock for each child. We are helping children lay the foundation for their lives. So let's continue to fight for the respect that this profession really deserves and educate other people of its value. Every child deserves a high quality early childhood education experience. Thank you again for this honor.
Callie, that was so, wow, that was so wonderful. And I hope you can take a few minutes to check out the congratulations that have been rolling in through the chat. That was such a model, you're such a model of excellence and dedication. And You are right that you're in good company amongst many excellent early childhood educators. And the reason why we offer this award is because we know that every child does deserve an excellent teacher like you. And so we are just so pleased to be able to recognize you and to celebrate, the entire community of early childhood educators in Vermont tonight. We really appreciate it, and congratulations again. That was fun. So next up, we're going to hear from Senator Leahy and Representative Welch. They may not make us cry, but they will be thoughtful remarks still. As I am sure you all know, the Build Back Better bill is being debated in Congress right now, and it includes historic and transformative investments in early childhood education. And while Senator Sanders was not able to record remarks, his team does want you to know he is fighting hard for early childhood educators and working families because he knows these investments are what's needed. But we do have remarks from Senator Leahy and Representative Welch, and we'll hear those now.
I want to thank all the educators that are gathered today. I thank you for your dedicated and tireless efforts to care for and educate Vermont's children. This past spring, I visited a pre-K classroom at Richmond Elementary School, and I saw how the students and the teachers had adapted to the pandemic. The class was held outside. The children were thriving. And I'm deeply grateful to the educators who worked hard to provide safety, joy, and learning to their students in a challenging time. I know this is what each of you does every day. It makes a difference for Vermont's children and Vermont's families. Congress is right now debating the largest investment in early childhood in our nation's history. I am committed to working to ensure that the Build Back Better plan includes important investments in this initiative. You do incredible work, and we have to do our part to provide you with the support you need. And I want to congratulate Calais Elementary School's Callie Weller on being named Vermont Early Childhood Educator of the Year. I know the students and families of Calais are fortunate to have you in their community. The skill and professionalism that you bring to your work is a benefit to the early childhood profession and your colleagues across the state. I hope your 2021 Vermont Early Childhood Education Conference goes well. So it's been a pleasure to join you even virtually, but I hope we can all be in person together again soon. Thank you.
I'm delighted to be joining you at the annual Early Education Conference. What an 18 months you've had dealing with pandemic, families who are trying to figure out how to keep their families safe, how to work remotely or go to work where they're exposed potentially to the virus, trying to make certain that their kids don't fall behind and get the love, attention, and nurture that all kids need. And it's been done in a context where this country simply doesn't have the family-friendly policies that are essential to an America where everybody is working. You know, the Build Back Better agenda incorporates so many of the policies that you all have been advocating for years. They're simple, they're straightforward, and they're absolutely essential. The child tax credit eases some of that financial pressure on families with young children. The commitment in Build Back Better to universal pre-K and to childcare, where the cost is not more than 7% of a family's income. The home care that's essential for adults. These are some of the policies that you've been advocating for, and now we have a shot at getting passed in Washington. It's tight with the 50-50 Senate and about a 3-vote margin in the House. But these things, when you ask whether you're a Republican or Democratic family, every family needs childcare. Every family can use the help with the child tax credit. This is really good for all of us as families, and it can help bring us together. So the work you're doing, it's more important than ever. And we've got to keep at it to get these policies in place so you can be successful back here doing your good work in Vermont. Finally, I want to acknowledge Callie Weller, the pre-K Educator of the Year at Calais Elementary School. What an accomplishment, what a service. Callie, congratulations, you make us proud.